All right, so you're learning a lot. Let's keep going. We're going to get into now some of these factors, and I just want to quickly review some of them. They are BSR demand tests. In other words, is there adequate, BSR demand? But then is there depth? Because what I don't want is a freak exception type of product. I don't want the product where there's one product that's just crushing it, but all the rest are just sucking. They're not selling. And that could be because there's a big national brand that's spending millions of dollars to advertise it on TV, and then it's forcing demand on Amazon. But in reality, just the organic sales that are happening on Amazon might stink. So we want to keep ourselves out of trouble. So we want to make sure there's adequate demand for at least 3 products, but then depth of demand across many of the products, even lower in the search results. Then we want to do monthly sales depth. It's sort of a confirmation of BSR. We want to see review activity. We want to make sure there's adequate reviews, because low reviews is a sign that there's hardly any sign of life. I mean, some people think, oh, low reviews is better. That means no competition. That means no buyers. And I'll explain that later. And then keyword test and a competitive score. So let's just get right to it. So we're going to use one of the tools, again, part of Helium 10, called X-Ray. This is actually a Chrome extension plugin. And I will provide the download link to that. You have to have a Helium 10 account, obviously, to use it, but it resides right up here in your browser. So if you take a look here, it's this little blue circle thing right there. See that on my screen? That is the Helium 10 Chrome extension. And here's what it does. So let's do a critical analysis now of this baby sound machine. Is it really good? Or did we get faked out? Because, again, we want to stack the odds. So I have a 90% chance of, even if I'm not ranking like in position 1, page 1, that I can still make good money from this product, right? So let's go down this road and let's see what happens. So remember on the last video, we discerned what we perceive is the most important keyword. And you'll see why this is important now, because we're going to do baby sound machine, and we're going to hit enter. This brings up all of the page 1 search results, right? But now we're going to launch this thing here. This is the Helium extension. Make sure the blue thing is on. Otherwise, these will be grayed out. And you're going to click on X-Ray, this one right here, X-Ray. Now watch what it does. What it does is it scrapes all of the data, uses our internal data algorithms, and it gives us pretty much all the data that we need here to do a very objective, unemotional, and critical analysis of this product. Okay? So if there's a little SP, let me just show you this here. If there's a little SP, that means it's a sponsored ad. Okay? Just so you're aware. This is the ASIN, and you can click any of these and resort. So like, for example, we're going to sort BSR. See right there? Right here. We're going to sort BSR from low to high. Remember, low BSR is better. And it looks like that hatch baby that we're analyzing actually improved their BSR since the last video. It was, I think, 71 or something. And so it's improving even faster now. So that's pretty awesome. Anyway, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to now cover the first box here called BSR demand test. This is all documented in the 3rd SOP that will be underneath this video, so don't worry about that. You'll have that to reference. But if you ever are just working off the spreadsheet, you're not near the SOP, right here is a nice summary of the rules of a go, no-go decision here of the spreadsheet. So we are right in the first one, BSR demand test. Are there 3 products within the first 25 listings with a BSR, a bestseller rank, under 1,500? Well, let's just take a look. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 listings that have a BSR 1,500 or better. So gee whiz, does that pass our test? We just needed 3 and we have 10. So we go up here and we're going to write Y for yes, and we're going to put 10. So if there's 3, that's a sign of very strong demand. If there's 10, holy crap, there is extreme demand, as far as we can tell. And again, we're using objective data. We're using, we're just basing this based on if it's a bestseller and how much of a bestseller. So boom, does it pass the BSR demand test? Yes or no? Did we see 3 products with a BSR under 1,500? I'll help you with the hard ones. The answer is yes. We found more than 3. We found 10. Now we go to BSR depth. And what this one means is we want to see if there's demand, and then we want to see if there's depth of demand, meaning like not just from 3 products, but is there a depth of demand that as we go down the page 1 search results, that even deep into the search results, people are still buying. And so for it to pass the BSR depth test, we have to ask ourselves how many BSRs under how many BSRs under 3,000 are in the top 25. So the first one was I want at least 3 that are under 1,500. And this one says I want at least 5 that are under 3,000, because this tells to me that, yeah, there's a lot of demand. Well, we know it passes because there's already 10 that are under 1,500. Let's actually see how many are under 3,000. So we have, and the reason I keep skipping this first one is because this is a sponsored ad. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 products with a BSR under 3,000. So we're going to write hell yeah and 13. So quick quiz question. Are you starting to get some clarity if this is a good product based on if there's buying activity? Yes. Prior to me showing you any of this, would you have any clue even how to identify a good potential product? No. But now that I've shown you this, are you getting confidence that you can do this? I hope the answer is yes. Now we're going to move on to monthly sales depth. Let me explain what this is. Monthly sales depth is, are there at least sales of 450 units a month? It's only 15 sales a day at position number 10 or worse. Now, that might be kind of curious to you. Like, why would I have that criteria? Here's why. There are certain products where only the top 5 listings make money. All right, does that make sense? So I've seen product opportunities where they initially look good, they pass both of my BSR tests, but then they fail the monthly sales depth test. Okay, so sometimes the first 5 product listings on Amazon are huge sellers, but none of them do squat. And I got burned on this once. So I don't like those situations. Remember, this is wired around dud avoidance, isn't it? So I don't want to have to rely on having to get my product a top 5 ranking to sell. So I want the opposite situation, and you should too. I want my product to sell great, even with a number 10 ranking in Amazon. And this is what this test is all about. Monthly sales depth, meaning does a product sell well even when it's low in the rankings? So again, to pass this test, I want to see that I can sell at least 15 units a day. That's 450 units a month at position number 10 or worse. Okay, so let's take a look. Now, we are going to have to resort this because we had initially sorted this for BSR, but that's going to mess up our results. So we go over here. I'm just going to draw this out. See where it says number? It's going to put these back in order for us. Okay, back in order. So click that number sign. Watch this. 3, 2, 1, boom. Now it's back in order from 1 to... So let's go... let's skip the sponsored ad. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Look at these sales. Even at 9, 10, and 11, holy crap, they're making 100,000, 50,000, 77,000. So even deep into the page 1 search results for this keyword, look at, so quiz question. If our criteria for monthly sales depth is 450 a month, does this pass the test? Yeah. Hell yeah. So look, I'm going to look at 9, 10, and 11. Let's just do an average. It's roughly 2,000. Would you agree? We got 3,000, 1,500, 3,000. Let's just say 2,000 is the average. So ding, ding, ding. It does pass the monthly sales. And we're going to say the average here is 2,000 units a month. What are you thinking? We started off, frankly, not having a clue, right, if we were going to pass these various criteria. But, whoop. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But there's Microsoft Word for you. Anyway, so we started off not having a clue what to even would make a good private label product in baby. Now we found a product, and now you're getting absolute specific objective criteria of the demand, depth of demand, and even if we kind of suck at ranking, you can see that we can still crush it. Are you liking this process so far? Is this getting you excited? I mean, can you see why this process is so successful? Okay, the next thing that we're going to look at is review activity. All right, review activity right here. Now, this is a mind bender for people that don't have a lot of business experience, or even those that do that have never done something like this. So, reviews are one of the strongest signs of buying activity. Would you agree? Because according to Amazon, less than 2%, well, anywhere from 2 to 3% of all buyers bother to leave a review. So when you see a bunch of listings all the way down to page with a hefty amount of reviews, what does that tell you? Ding, ding, ding. It tells you there's some serious buying activity. There's just buyings, or there's just lots of buyers percolating in and around that line of products, because all these products, even deep into the search results, would not have all these reviews if people weren't buying. Again, somebody who doesn't understand this business will seek out products that have hardly any reviews. And I say, well, why would you want to, here, let me just give you a great story. So I was in a nightclub business in the 1990s, and I was hunting around in Las Vegas to find a nightclub to develop. And I found a great parcel, and it was kind of out by itself. It had no other nightclubs around it. And I told my mentor I was very excited. And I said, hey, I think I got a good location for this nightclub. He didn't literally hit me over the head, but he verbally hit me over the head. And he said, are you like a dunce? I was like, what? He's like, why would you want to put your nightclub in the middle of nowhere where there's no there's no activity? There's no nightclub type activity. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, why do you think there's Restaurant Row? And why do you think restaurants fight to get next to 5 other restaurants on Restaurant Row? I'm like, oh, because people are showing up there and it becomes a known area, and it's like the tide that rises all ships. So you want to be next to the competition. Is that right? He's like, yeah. So he's like, do not get that parcel because, yes, in theory you have no competition. You also have no customers. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So in a nightclub business, just like in a restaurant business, you want to find the corner that there's 5 other hopping, super packed nightclubs, because it's that competition that will bring more customers to you. It's a sign that it is actually a very popular place to put a nightclub, not a bad place. Counterintuitive, I know, right? And if you have retail experience, you know that's true. There's a lot of businesses that are built on this entire model, right? Starbucks will almost always try to put a location right across from a mall or in a mall. And, there's all kinds of stories like this of one of the highest paid site finders who worked for Burger King. And like every site he opened, he had this incredible track record of like 90% of them were making over $1 million after a year. And so they decided to shadow him. And they found that all he would do is he would go to a town where there wasn't a Burger King. He'd find a McDonald's and he'd say, hey, let's open up right across the street. They fired him, which is stupid because they thought, hey, that's not fair. But no, it was the smartest thing possible. You go right next to the competition because it's a sign of buying activity. Same thing with reviews, okay? So that's a long way of saying, see, I love competition. To me, it's the perfect marketplace neon sign flashing that, hey, there's a ton of money to be made here. A lot of you guys get freaked out by competition, which I'm not sure why, but hopefully I can help you to have a different point of view, especially when I share with you what I call the gazelle method a little bit later. You're going to like this, okay? But anyway, Here is my here's my criteria, and sorry for all the storytelling, but I think this is going to help you long term. Reviews are a strong sign of buying. Are there listings with at least 100 reviews at position 10 or worse? This is kind of similar to monthly sales depth. This is also saying, hey, if only the top 3 listings have a lot of reviews, but all the rest are like ghost towns, that makes me worried. See, what we're doing is by adding each test is it's confirmation, it's giving you a more complete picture, it's making sure you don't get a head fake, it's really filling in all the blanks from these breadcrumbs that Amazon leaves for us, okay? So let's go take a look at that. Again, we want at least 100 reviews at position 10 or worse. So number of reviews right here, and I think I just misspoke. I said we want 10 reviews. We want 100 or more reviews at position 10. So look at 260 reviews. Does that pass the test? Yes or yes? 219,000. Look at, we are getting high review counts even at position, all the way down to the bottom, even at position number 21. I mean, even at position 19, the worst case one is 123 and are doing 12,000 a month. Gee, do you think there's some good buying activity for a baby sound machine? I think so. So we're going to say yes. And I believe it was like roughly 230 reviews for that. So that's going to do it for this video. On the next video, I'll show you the keyword test and the competitive score.